Hey everybody, and welcome back to my show. This is going to be my spoiler-rific review of Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, for those of you that have not been on the show or have seen my show before, my name is Luis Ortega, and I'm just going to go over what I liked, what I disliked, and obviously a spoiler review of Godzilla vs. Kong. If this is your first time at the channel, please hit subscribe, hit a like, and leave a comment. I want to build a community, and the only way I can build a community is with everyone out there joining me and trying to build this community together. So, this is the movie that I had waited for a very long time. I'm a big fan of anything kaiju. Anything that's big monster movies, I love it. In my last review, I spoke about what I felt about the movie and how I enjoyed the movie. I didn't go into a lot of detail because I didn't want to spoil it. But in this video, spoilers galore. This is going to be everything we want to know. So once again, thank you. Welcome back to the channel. What did I think about Godzilla versus Kong? I really liked the movie. As I said in my non-spoiler review, I enjoyed it immensely. It was everything that I wanted it to be. It entertained me from more or less beginning to end, even though it's not a perfect movie. There are a lot of things about the movie, and I'll be very honest. There are things about the movie that I really dislike, but I like a significant amount more of things in the movie than I dislike. So that's why I'm very positive about this movie. That's why I've recommended it for everybody. The first thing I will say is the first time I saw this movie, I saw it at home using a screener. And although I have a very big TV and I have a great sound system, there's nothing like going to the movie theater. There's nothing like sitting there and sticking your hand in some buttery popcorn and drinking a giant soda surrounded by people that are all there with you to enjoy the movie. I want to give a big kudos to everybody that went to my theater because everybody stayed very safe. Everybody was very cognitive and self-aware and protective of themselves and everyone else. So a big kudos to everybody that I shared that movie theater with. Now, as for the movie, there's really only one spoiler in the movie. Now, there's two. There's who wins the fight, which is a pretty big spoiler. And then, obviously, the second big spoiler, which is the worst kept spoiler in forever. I mean, the only spoiler that's worse than this one, or the worst kept secret than this, would be that Benedict Cumberbatch was playing Kong in Star Trek. Because everybody and their mother knew that Godzilla and Mechagodzilla were going to end up fighting. And Mechagodzilla was good and bad in my opinion. The good part of Mechagodzilla is it gave us a device that allows our two heroes, because let's be honest, we all love Godzilla and King Kong. We didn't want to see either one of them kill the other one. I'm positive the movie studios didn't want that to happen because they want to keep making money from these two animals. So that would not be a great idea. However, this is a monster movie. Somebody got to die. So they introduced Mechagodzilla. First and foremost, I'm going to say the look of Mechagodzilla was not good. I did not like the Mechagodzilla look. I did not like the whole idea of a Mechagodzilla. I understand that it's a very important part of the IP and the mythos of Godzilla. However, I did not enjoy it. I kept getting pulled out of the movie every time Mechagodzilla was on screen because I couldn't turn off the part of my brain that would make me say, why did you make it look like Godzilla? They could have easily made Mecha anything, just Mecha robot. There you go. It doesn't have to be Mechagodzilla, the same way it doesn't have to be Mecha King Kong. It always kills me in movies when they want to find a villain and they make the villain the opposite of the good guy. In Black Panther fights Killmonger, who's the opposite of Black Panther. He's pretty much Black Panther turned bad. In Ant-Man versus the Wasp, or the first Ant-Man, he fights another Ant-Man. In the first Iron Man, he fights another Iron Man. In the second Iron Man, he fights even more Iron Men. Like, why can't somebody come up with a villain that is not just the opposite of the good guy? And this is kind of what I feel about Mechagodzilla. He's just the opposite of the good guy. Furthermore, the idea of if you have unlimited resources and you have unlimited technology and you can make anything you want, like I look at Godzilla, and Godzilla is not a very effective bodily structure. Like if I was going to make a robot, I would probably make a robot that looks like Kong before I make a robot that looks like Godzilla, because Godzilla has like little alligator arms. So that's not very useful. Why would I want to model my robot after that? The only good thing that Godzilla has is he has his tail. So, but I can put a tail on a robot that looks like a robot. I don't have to make it look like Godzilla to make it effective. I can just put I could have put a tail on, like, you know, anything, any Jaeger. I could have just put a tail on a regular robot. Why did you have to make the scales, the metal scales on the back of the robot light up like the lights on the back of Godzilla light up before he shoots his nuclear breath? Why did you need the scales on the back of your robot to do the same exact thing, to shoot a laser out of its mouth? Why did you even put the laser in its mouth? That seems incredibly ineffective, because every time you go to shoot the laser, you have to open up your mouth or you're going to blow your freaking head off. They could have just put the laser in it. It's a robot. You can put the laser anywhere you want. Anywhere you want. Pick a place. You could literally put it at the bottom of his feet. So when he kicks somebody in the face, the laser goes off and blows their head off. There you go. Next movie written. Thank you. Send me my check. Again, this is one of the things that really pulled me out of the movie so much, is the look of Mechagodzilla. I was enjoying the entire ride. When Mechagodzilla finally showed up, I'll be very honest with you, I was pulled out of the movie just a little bit. And every time he did something, I would get pulled out of the movie just a little bit. Every time. And I tried, I turned off my brain. I took my brain and I turned it off so much that at one point, I'm going to say, I think the only thing that I left on was life support. My ability to breathe and my heart rate, and just life support. I literally powered everything down, all thought process, to get through some parts of this movie, because I was like, I like, if I try to think about it even slightly, it's going to pull me out of the movie, because that makes no sense. And I know it's hard to make sense in a sci-fi movie with a premise based on a giant lizard that's fighting a giant ape. I still like some reality in my sci-fi. Not a lot. I'm not asking for, you don't have to Christopher Nolan it and like get, a theoretical physicist to like figure out all the things that you want to do and make sure that they're scientifically accurate. I don't need that. But I just need just a little sense of common sense, a tiny little bit of reality. And yeah. So Mechagodzilla, I love the fight, hated the robot, hated the look of the robot, hated the whole concept of the robot, but I did love the fight. I loved when Kong versus Godzilla got together and kicked its ass. It was a much better ending and a much better scenario than we got a few years ago in another WB property, Batman versus Superman, because that Doomsday sucked. That fight sucked. Needless to say, a good portion of that movie was not well received for obvious reasons. In this movie, the devices that they put in place that caused Kong and Godzilla to fight each other, really good devices. Very natural, very organic. Obviously, the other big spoiler is who wins the fight. In the end, Godzilla wins the fight. The first fight, Godzilla wins it. The second fight, or the first half of the second fight, Kong is winning. Kong is doing great. He was able to go to the Hollow Earth. He was able to find his axe, very, oh geez, it's like an Avengers movie. He's like Thor. He went and got his axe, and he was able now to to fight. But I really enjoyed it. The whole concept of him getting this axe, seeing his home, seeing this hollow earth where all these creatures come from, all these creatures live. I really enjoyed all of that. They did it great. They pulled it off on screen beautifully. The special effects, that's one thing I'll tell you. I don't see a point in this movie where the special effects were weak, especially when Godzilla, Kong, or any of the kaijus are involved. The only special effects points that I feel were weak were special effects that were surrounding the humans. And by that I mean like the ship that they use, or the 2 or 3 ships that they use to fly into the hollow earth, pulled me out of it. I was like, oh man, that makes no sense. And I know flying to the middle of the earth also makes no sense, but the ship itself makes no sense based on the reality that we've seen over the past 3 or 4 movies. If you think about it, in the first Godzilla movie, even though it's a sci-fi movie, it's based in scientific factuality. Let's put it that way. It's factuality, which is kind of like reality, but not really reality. It's factuality. In the second Godzilla movie, we're still living in that time period with the technology of that time period. When they go to Godzilla's underground base, they do it in a submarine. They do it in devices that exist. They use materials that exist. The machine that's causing the kaijus to fight each other, the sonar location, that exists. We've been doing it for like 30 or 40 years or more. It's taking a concept that does exist and just tweaking it a little bit, just a little, just like a quarter turn into the realm of fiction. In this movie, no, they pull the screw out and throw it on the ground and say, screw it, we're just going to keep turning this until we strip it, because reality, schmality, the ships that they use to travel the center of the earth, where did they get those? Because it's only been like, even in the movie that says it's only been a few years since the last attack. So you're going to tell me in just a couple of years, you went from having sonar technology, which was like, oh, somebody invented sonar technology that could speak to these animals. You literally went to inventing a full-on 500-foot tall robotic mechanism that can shoot lasers that you didn't have before. If you have those lasers, why aren't you just shooting them at the kaijus anyway? Why do you have to put them in a giant robot? I understand why they have to make the movie, but it sucks because it pulled me out of the movie. I'm sorry. I get carried away with some of this just ridiculousness that I come across from time to time. Yeah. The Millie Bobby Brown part of the movie, like her little side quest with the 2 people that she's with, they could have edited that right out of the movie. Would have made for just as good a movie. There's no reason for them existing in this entire movie. The Apex villains, the twirly mustache Apex villains, bootleg 007 villain. This is a guy that didn't make the cut in some 007 James Bond movie. He was the worst bad guy. At one point, he's the charming, suave guy with a lot of money, and then at the end, he's literally monologuing his evil plot. Like that was a harsh pill to swallow. The technology of having King Ghidorah's head and using that as an interface to connect to Mechagodzilla, unnecessary. It's a robot. You could have controlled it with a really good iPhone. You could have controlled it with a PS5 controller if you could get one, because they're still very hard to get. But no, they have to make all these devices. Like, I don't understand why writers feel it's so necessary to add so many layers to what they're doing for really no reason. There was no reason for the King Ghidorah head. There was no reason for like the cybernetic psychic uplink to the Mechagodzilla robot. There was just, and if you got rid of that, you could have got rid of Millie Bobby Brown. You could have condensed the movie a little bit more. You could have spent a little more time with Godzilla and with Kong. You could have just done more. I understand that they want to hit like just below that 2-hour runtime, but I'll be honest with you, Cut. I would have edited all that down significantly. In the end, Godzilla is the victor. He is, without tapping out, Kong taps out. He is a unresponsive combatant. He's unable to defend himself, as a UFC referee would say. The fighter's unable to defend himself. Kong is unable to defend himself. King Kong is fighting Godzilla. Godzilla kicks it up to like that next notch, that top 5 contender in the UFC. Godzilla is in the top 10, but you know, that top 3, 4, those are elite fighters. And unfortunately, Kong is not able to keep up with Godzilla. He gets pinned. He gets the crap beat out of him. He's kind of almost on his deathbed. The stupid little ship charges up a magnetic pulse that recharges him. All I needed to see is on the side of that ship is a Red Bull logo, and I would have just tossed my popcorn and walked out, because again, that pulled me out of the movie completely. It was very reminiscent of like old Godzilla movies where Godzilla would almost be dying and then like a bolt of lightning would hit him and all of a sudden he'd be re-energized and he'd ready to fight again. It was very hokey. It was very on the nose for these franchises. It was definitely on the nose for like the MonsterVerse, because this is something that's been used before in the MonsterVerse. As I mentioned before, Godzilla has been resurrected with lightning. King Kong has been resurrected with lightning. It's, okay. At the end of the day, did I enjoy the movie? I absolutely enjoyed the movie. I do recommend the movie to anyone that is interested in really having a good time. I do highly recommend, if you can go see it in the movie theaters, go see it in the movie theaters. The movie theaters are bouncing back and they really need our help. And AMC in particular has been doing an incredible job of providing an unbelievable amount of service and level of service to make sure that everyone's protected. So if you get a chance, take your family out, enjoy a night, stuff your face full of popcorn, drink a ridiculous amount of soda that will cause you to go to the bathroom probably all night, maybe even wake up in the middle of the night because you drank like a liter of just soda. Have a Slurpee. Oh, I love Slurpees. I miss them. Even though I can get them at 7-Eleven, there's a difference when you're sitting in a movie theater and drinking a Slurpee versus just buying one at 7-Eleven and randomly walking around. So, and as always, hey, if you like this channel, please keep tuning in. I'm going to keep doing these videos. Whether I have one person watching them or 1,000 people watching them, I'm still going to keep doing the videos. If you like anything that I said, please leave a comment. Tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if my idea of the Mecha Godzilla being a mecha is just stupid. If you think it's great, tell me, hey, it's great, you're a moron. If you think I'm right, say, you know what, you're right. The writers and the visual effects people are morons. And please keep an eye out on my channel. Subscribe, like, comment, and we will see each other very, very soon. Thank you.